Hey friends, good morning. Lois with Ellie Grace's Attic here. At least I hope it's still morning because I think we have a few minutes till noon. I'm still rocking my PJ shirt, Go Tigers. It's actually my husband's, but it's my favorite go-to keep me warm shirt, loungewear. So hopefully it's still morning somewhere. But anyways, I wanted to come on today and talk to you all about beating the overwhelm. Life is crazy, I think, for all of us, myself included. If you've been keeping up with us on Facebook, you know, our lives have been a little turned upside down lately with the recent death of a family member, and just business and just all the things. So life is crazy on a normal day-to-day basis, but when you throw in a family crisis or any type of major milestone in life, it can turn things upside down in a hurry. And so right now our family is kind of operating on a 3-week deficit because we focused in, as we should have, on that family member and our other family members during that time. And so we have found ourselves back home and in a little state of overwhelm, or at least specifically me am overwhelmed with all the things, with mom and Nana and Nana to 6 beautiful grands, being a wife, the house, the business, the amount. Well, I'm talking about my sign business, Ellie Grace's Attic, but on top of that, the business aspect. When someone passes, y'all, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to close out. There's a lot of little things, a lot of things that you have to do or have to take care of. Luckily, our oldest daughter is helping with all of those things. She's back home in Louisiana. We're home here in Alabama, so we're kind of tag teaming on some of it. But it's still a lot of things, and we can all, no matter what our situation, find ourselves in a state of overwhelm, so to speak. So whatever your overwhelm looks like, I just want you to know there's hope, and you can beat it. So as God always does, He shows up just when you need Him. Sorry, raspberry lemonade. I always have a drink at my work table when I'm doing art. I am working on a sign today down here. I don't know if you could see it in the screen, but so I've been painting and reflecting, listening to my business coach training this morning, which was, of course, great as always, Jennifer Allwood. If you don't know who she is, you should look her up, especially if you have a small business or a creative business. Hold on. Anyway, I always have a drink. Raspberry lemonade is my fave. So anyway, God is good. He always shows up right on time, just with what you need, like manna from heaven. So last night, that overwhelm kind of caught up with me, and y'all, I was crabby. I had my crabby pants on. I was probably, if you talked to me yesterday, I may not have been the nicest person. As my husband, my sweet husband, can attest to, yesterday was difficult. So I sort of had a mini meltdown last night. My sweet husband spoke life into me. He's so good in that way, and just kind of helped me to refocus, and it was good. It was some things that I needed to hear, and some encouragement from him. And don't you know, just like that, I woke up this morning and I had missed a devotion. I'm doing this devotion called, I'm going to miss the name of it, Creating White Space, I think is the name of it, on YouVersion app, which is a Bible app for those of you who don't know. And I had missed yesterday, day 2. And so I pulled it up this morning to start my day right. And don't you know, it was all about time management. I'm sorry, I have to laugh right here because God is just God, and it's just funny sometimes the way that He works, and you're like, duh. So when He just poured this word into me about being overwhelmed and time management. And look, I'm an administrator at heart. I know all about time management. I am a scheduler from way back. I have a planner. I rock my planner. I have an app on my phone. But overwhelm catches up with even the best of us. So, not that I'm the best, but you know what I'm saying. Even the administrators, they too get overwhelmed. They might have a great list, but they too fight overwhelm at one time or another. So anyway, one of my favorite sayings, I say it all the time to my kids. I had a pastor years ago say it. I worked for a church for a long time, and he, in staff meeting, he would say it all the time. And just recently, my business coach said it again, and I was like, okay, that's timely. But the saying is, how do you eat an elephant? And it's one bite at a time. So if you have a big thing that you're facing, or a big to-do list, or whatever it is, you can only do one thing at a time, and that's how you tackle it. You start with number one, and you work your way down. So you start at the head of the elephant and work your way down to the tail, so just one bite at a time. So keep that in mind as we're talking today. And I don't know if it's kind of a spur of the moment live, so I didn't announce it. So you can go back and rewatch this later, or share it with your friends so they too can be encouraged, because we do all fight the overwhelm. But there's good news, we can beat it with just a few simple steps. First of all, sometimes it's just a matter of reviewing your schedule and asking yourself these questions. What are the most important things in life? What things do you really value? What things are you doing because you felt like you couldn't say no? Maybe you felt like you were guilted into it. What things do you wish you could give up but feel like you can't because you would feel like you're backing out on a commitment, or you would feel guilty, or anything like that? And what activities, for the moms in the group, what activities are you involved in that seemed good at the beginning, but maybe now they're not working out? I don't know if you're like me, and my kids aren't really in a lot, but there are a couple of days of the week that are just jam-packed. Like, we know on that day we're going to be crazy busy. So, y'all, we don't have to do, and those things, you don't have to do everything in this season, like everything all at once, like all the things now. Sometimes, if something isn't working, you don't have to keep doing it. If we're so filled up with things and things to do and places to go, then we're not able to do what God has called us to do, or to live out that purpose for Him, or even to spend time with Him. Then that's when we really need to reflect on look at the overwhelm and try to fix it. So again, review your schedule. And pardon me, but I need to clear this real quick. I'm gonna pop that. Okay, thank you. It was bugging me. All right. And they might just keep popping up, but that's okay. So make sure you review your schedule. And in reviewing and asking yourself those major questions before you start, look at these questions and number your things. When you've got your schedule in front of you and the activities and the places to go, let's assign them all a number, okay? So number one would be things you have to do. Like, they're non-negotiable, like feeding your family. You gotta eat, so you can't scratch that off. So feeding your family, taking your kids to school, your daily word and prayer time. To me, those are, and they should be to you, non-negotiable things. So those will be the number ones, the most important things. Number two would be things that you should do, like the ideal things. Like, they're ideal, but maybe I could skip this occasionally and life would still go on. there should be a way to cut those pop-ups off when you're doing a live. So things that are ideal, but you could skip them and they would, life would go on. So those are things like, and things that you could delegate. Keep that in mind. Things like the laundry. Nobody's gonna die if you skip the laundry one day. Note to myself, okay? Cleaning the house. Let me tell y'all, with our 3-week deficit, my house has not been dusted in about 3 weeks. And there is an inch of dust on everything. If I were to turn the camera around and let you see peek into my kitchen, I'm in the dining room right now, then you would be able to see that I have about, let me see, there's a sink full of dishes from breakfast this morning. There are at least 5 or 6 different stacks of paper spread out on my kitchen island of things that I started this morning. Some of them are finished. Things that have to be done in closing out my mom's estate. There's actually some laundry over there because my laundry room is right off the kitchen, and my pop-ups are just staying on the screen. I'm sorry, they're bugging me. They're not popping up and going away. They're just kind of hanging out there. There's laundry over there. There's just stuff everywhere, okay? So some of those things, sometimes we can just let them go. So things that, and it's not just laundry and cooking, y'all bathing your kids. Wednesday nights for us are crazy. We leave our house about sometimes at 5-ish and we don't get home, sometimes before that if we have appointments, and we don't get home till after 9. And my little normally goes to bed at 7:30, 8 o'clock at the latest. So you know what? If he's not stinky and sweaty, bud, we skip in the bath. You can bathe in the morning or you can bathe tomorrow night. It's not the end of the world. Sometimes serving others, that's an ideal thing, but it's something you can skip sometimes too. So et cetera, you can kind of make your own list there. So those are the 2s. Number 1s are the things that you have to do that are non-negotiable. Number 2 are the things that you should do. They're ideal, but you could occasionally skip them or delegate. Number 3 are things that I want to do. That might be something like your Bible study group. It might be exercise. It might be coffee with a friend. It might be getting a pedicure. I need a pedicure right now, can I tell you? Et cetera. Okay, now let me just say self-care is important, and I'm going to come back to that in a minute. But those are the number 3s, things that you want to do. So number 1, things I have to do. Number 2, things that I should do. And number 3, things that I want to do. And then number 4 are things I didn't need to do, but I felt a sense of duty or guilt, and so therefore I said yes. I couldn't say no. Let me just stop right there and say it's okay to say no. And take it from somebody who, it took me a long time to be able to even voice those words out loud. It's okay to say no. It's okay. Sometimes your no could be not a no, but it could be saving you time to say yes to something even better. So remember that. It's okay to say no. So number 1, you're categorizing your schedule, looking at all the things on your list to do, and you're ranking them by number. Number 1, the things I have to do. Number 2, the things I should do. Number 3, the things I want to do. And number 4, the things I really didn't need to do, okay? So those are your 4 ranks of the items, okay? I took notes so I wouldn't forget anything. So then, here comes the hard part, okay? You're gonna start crossing stuff off your list, okay? When my husband said this to me last night, he's like, I'll look at that list and I know there's some things that could come off of it. Bless him, he loves me so much. But because when he said that, I was like, oh, all those things need to be done. So, but he's right. I want you to do something drastic. I want you to get rid of all the 4s. If you ranked something a 4, if it was something that, I totally just put that in paint. Hold on, I'm sorry. I totally just put my notes in paint. If you ranked something a 4, which is something you didn't really need to do, then you need to get rid of it. Get it off the list. And it doesn't mean like never. It just means get it off of your list for this week. Maybe it means just putting it on another list, like a table until later, and put that list on next month's schedule. Put it at a lot of times what I'll do is kind of use my planner as a tickler file, and if it's something that I don't need to address until a later date, I'll just take it and put it at the beginning of that month. And so when that month comes, I'm like, oh, okay, it's time for me to address this now. So it's off of my current schedule. I'm not freaking out because it's not done and it's on my list and oh my gosh, I got to do it. So I've just got it out of sight, out of mind until the time comes for me to address it. So it doesn't mean you're cutting them out forever. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it is something that needs to go forever, and you know what? I never need to do that. Or maybe it's something you just need to look at later. But the point is, it's off of this week's schedule, this month's schedule, or today's schedule. Just if you're feeling the overwhelm, then this is what you need to do, my friends, to beat it and to prioritize and to make the most out of your time. So cut out all the number 4s, okay? Then the second thing you're gonna do is you're gonna limit the 3s. Now remember, 3s were the things that you want to do. It's that must needed lunch with your friend. And let me just say, self-care is super duper important for everyone, but especially for moms, especially moms who have a business, okay? Or whether you're just creative and you're, doing a hobby at home, but you're trying to prioritize, you're selling that to pay for soccer, okay? Maybe you don't have a business, but self-care is super duper important. Even if you don't have a business, as a mom, self-care is important. It's important to treat yourself every now and then. It's important to, and I'm preaching to the choir, I'm preaching to myself. Sometimes it's important to schedule nap, even if it's just 30 minutes, onto your schedule once a week. You have to take care of you and be the best you, and that includes eating right. Of course, you should try to eat right all the time. Don't cross out eating right, but going to do things like that nap or what we said earlier, pedicure and all that. You're going to limit those. Doesn't mean you're crossing them out. In fact, you should have at least one self-care thing on your schedule per week. Don't cut them out. You're just limiting them. That means you don't go to coffee every day, okay? It means you don't take a nap every day. You just limit those because self-care is important. You can't take care of anybody else when your cup is on empty. You can't pour into anybody else when your cup is empty or dry. So that's important. So you're cutting out all the 4s. You're limiting the 3s, okay? Just for a season. You're not cutting them out. You're just limiting for a season until you beat the overwhelm, okay? And then the next thing I want you to do is just take a minute, because once you cut out all the 3s off your schedule and you cut out all the 4s and you limit the 3s, then take another look at your schedule and you're going to see a lot of white space, okay? Empty space. White space just means empty space. If you're an artist or any type of in publications, graphics, then you understand what white space is. It's just empty space. And let me just tell you, from a graphics point of view or advertising, okay, simple is better, okay? If I were designing, it's kind of like, well, I don't want to use that example. White space in a graphic or a picture draws your eye in. Let me see if I can give you an example. I don't have a blank piece of paper, do I? Okay. So I'm just going to give you a sample. Okay. You see this paper here has notes all over it. Okay. If you're looking at that then you don't know where to look at first. I mean, most of us are going to try to start reading up here, but it takes your eyes a minute to focus on this paper with all those notes. But if I turn it over and there's one dot in the middle, see all the empty white space around it, then your eye automatically hones in on the dot. That's what white space does for you. If you're in any type of graphic or artist, you want to draw the eye in to focus, especially advertising. They want to draw you in to that one thing for you to focus on. And so it's the same thing with your schedule. Once you've gotten rid of all the 4s, you've cut them all out, you've limited the 3s, if you step back and take a look at the big schedule, the big picture, you're going to say, wow, look at all that white space I just created for myself, all that free time. And then you're able to focus in on the things that really need to be done. And you've just prioritized your schedule that way. So take a minute to appreciate that white space, okay? Just by cutting out and limiting those things. Then the next thing you need to do is just kind of identify some family goals and create habits around these goals. Wednesday nights for us, I think I told you, is very crazy. We usually do some appointments on that day. We have church on that day, but our church starts at a later time. But it's priority, it's youth group and children's group midweek. And so it's priority that my kids are there because that is a family goal. Finn, oh, sorry, my puppy just got up, and when he did, he pulled the cord that the phone is attached to, and I thought the whole thing was going to come tumbling over. So it's a work-at-home hazard, puppies. But that's priority for us. That's a family goal every week. We try to always be in church midweek. We're always there on Sunday, but midweek sometimes can get compromised, but we have made it a goal to be there each week. And so for us, making the habits around that is a lot of times because we live a little ways from town and from church, a lot of times that means packing a picnic supper so I don't have to come back. Mapping out all the things so when we go to town we can do everything, and then we can go on to church, do church, and then come home. So we kind of work around that goal and make some habits to make that happen and make those, what's the word I'm searching for? Make it a happy experience for everybody. Mom's happy, kids are happy, they're fed. Do you know what I'm saying? So you kind of just work with it. So look at your schedule. Again, you're ranking your to-do list, your places to go in 1, 2, 3, 4 order. Number 1 are the things that you have to do, non-negotiable. Number 2 are the things that you should do. They're ideal, but they could be skipped or delegated, okay? Number 3 are the things that I want to do. That's my petty. That's my coffee with friends. And number 4 are the things that you just couldn't say no to, and you kind of got guilted into them. So rank them in that order, okay? And then you're going to look at it again. You're going to cut out all the 4s. You're going to just cut them out, get rid of them all together, or table them until a later time, until you have beaten the overwhelm, okay? Number 2, you're going to limit your 3s, okay? Remember, self-care is important, so don't cut that out, but you're going to limit them. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take a minute to just thank you, Jesus, that I just created white space by doing those 2 simple things. And then number 4, you're going to identify some family goals, some things that are important to your family, and you're going to create habits around those goals. And if you do these few simple things, I promise that you're going to beat the overwhelm, and you're going to get over the hump, and you're going to eat that elephant one bite at a time. Okay, and I do, no, I'm not going to do that. Sorry. I was about to go off on a rabbit trail, but I was like, don't let me do that. So anyway, you'll beat the overwhelm, and I promise you'll feel much better about it. And even if You're in your PJs, like me, working from home. If you're a working mom that works in the corporate world, if you're a single dad, a single mom, whoever you are, you can use these tips to beat the overwhelmed, because it doesn't matter who we are or what season of life we find ourselves in. We all occasionally find ourselves overwhelmed, especially in today's age where we have so many things bombarding us and that. So don't give up hope. Don't melt down. Just follow these steps, and I promise you can beat the overwhelm. Don't give up. Keep at it. Keep on keeping on, and hold your head up high, and know that the Lord wants what's best for you. He has a plan for you, and He's going to empower you through His grace to do all the things, okay? But sometimes that means reevaluating, regrouping, and refocusing, just like I shared with you. And you too can eat an elephant. So go out there, beat your overwhelm, and go get them. Go Tigers! Y'all have a great day.